Hey, everybody. First off, I'd like to say I hope everybody's doing well. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, whether it's real or not, it's still going on. A lot of people are getting affected by this, one way or the other. So, again, I hope everybody's doing well and try to push through this the best we can. I was going to make a different video tonight completely because I'm trying to put out a little more content and get back out there in the game. And I ran across this and I was so shocked. I just, had to go ahead and put it out there. So enjoy.
Experts are projecting that New York could reach its apex of the coronavirus cases this week. And yes,
Wow, that was hilarious. Now let's talk about some death. Way to go, Whoopi. Can you stop laughing for just a second?
yesterday, the Surgeon General, Jerome Adams, told the nation to brace itself for a grim chapter in U.S. history. Take a look.
The next week is going to be our Pearl Harbor moment. It's going to be our 9/11 moment. It's going to be the hardest moment for many Americans in their entire lives. And we really need to understand that if we want to flatten that curve and get through to the other side, everyone needs to do their part.
Wow, this guy's hilarious. We got Mike Tyson's little brother out here. Oh, this is going to be like 9/11 and Pearl Harbor, which is kind of funny to me because both of those events, in my opinion, are very suspect. We all know the whole thing with 9/11. Pearl Harbor, really quick, they signed a pact with Germany. It was called the Tripartite Act. Basically just said if you mess with Germany or Italy, Japan's got your back. They had some troops in Cambodia and Laos, and then all of a sudden they just decided to go start some stuff with the U.S. and get them involved in the war, which makes no sense. But anyway, speaking of Cambodia, if you're a fan of rock music, you should look into the Dead Kennedys Holiday in Cambodia song. It's a great song. But anyway, let's continue with this video.
Well, clearly the hyperbole bug bit him in the behind. I mean, using the comparison to Pearl Harbor. I mean, what did you guys feel about this? Sarah?
Well, hearing words like Pearl Harbor and 9/11, I clearly only read about Pearl Harbor in history books, but I was here in New York City for 9/11. So the heaviness of that definitely weighed on me. Those references are triggers for anyone who's lived through that before. The hard part about that is being in New York during that time. It was such a sad time, but it was very unifying. The city came together. It was a magical place, and it was about almost.
And now she goes on to say that 9/11 unified everybody, which it did. You had everybody flying American flags out in their porch and whatnot. And they were like, yes, let's go to war and kill some people because we're America. It's what we do. It was the whole point.
It was about embracing people, coming together. I think the hard part about this is to do the right thing and stick in this together right now is to stay apart.
Yes, as Americans, we need to bond together, but stay apart. As long as you're 6 feet apart, we can stay together. If you're closer than that, as they don't really advise that.
Which kind of goes against, I think, so much of what we need as humans, that social connection, affection, lifting each other up. And so right now I am at home with my husband and my kids, which can be a handful, but I know at the end of the day, I feel very lucky to be with other people. My heart goes out to people right now that are battling this alone.
Oh, wait, spoiler alert. They're going to turn this into a division. Rich against poor, white against black. Watch it go.
I think it's an isolating time, and we've been doing it now for weeks. So I think the fact that the hardest part is yet to come, comparing it to the Pearl Harbor, the 9/11, because right now I think a lot of people are hitting the end of kind of their mental health and their mental well-being. So right now I just remind everyone to reach out to people that you know aren't with anyone else, to remind them they're not alone and we will get through this together.
Megan, you also agree with the tone that he struck.
Hey, Whoopi, you're on the air. You might want to put your phone on silent.
Why is that?
Well, I feel like
Yeah, this chick must know what she's talking about because she's wearing glasses, so that makes her smart.
everyone on this show has felt that this was a historical paradigm shift in everything we know. We're about to enter what can easily be described as a second Great Depression among everything else that's been going on.
Yeah, she's been roughing it all weekend. I feel so sorry for her.
These weekends for me are very long, as I think they are for anyone who's working and then has the weekend off to think about this. And one of the things over the weekend that I have been particularly scared and alarmed by is the absolute racial inequality that this virus is hitting.
I just got to stop it right there. So now the virus is racist. That's what she's saying. What the hell is wrong with people?
In Michigan, 35% of the COVID cases are Black people, 24% are white. Listen to this. 40% of Black people who contract COVID in Michigan will die as opposed.
Yeah, you heard it here first. They're giving all the ventilators to white people only. Come on, man.
To 28% of white people. Now, these numbers are across the board, especially in New York City. They're all comparable. And I think there was a thought that maybe this virus would be some kind of equalizer for everyone. And if anything, the coronavirus has showed that this racial bias is showing up in larger numbers. And it's very hard to watch this country let an entire segment of the population get sicker and die faster in a different way. And I don't know what the answer to this is. I was watching AOC's live.
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing to turn to in a crisis. Let's go see what AOC has to say. That's really good thinking.
Instagram about this over the weekend. I was watching a lot of commentators talk about this, and that maybe we need to start sending medical care into different communities in different areas that don't have the same kind of access to medical care that everyone on this show does. And I think
she's trying to tell you that your health care sucks compared to hers because she makes a boatload of money and you don't.
I think it has been. This will be one of the moments in history that particularly will come out very damning in American history.
Sonny, you think that Adams is part of the problem?
I do, but to respond to what Megan's point is, you know, the bottom line here is the reason I think that you're seeing the racial disparity not only in Detroit but in other places.
She's stumbling there. She's trying to think of something racist to say, but she's got to be politically correct about it. So she's got to think, and they're not really coming to her yet, but it'll get there.
Is because there is also a disparity between black and white in terms of healthcare, of course, and in terms of financial. There are financial issues, and that's something that's been going on for a very, very long time, and that's why I think you're seeing this disparity in terms of coronavirus. But also, I do think the Surgeon General is part of the problem, because I have lost complete confidence in the Surgeon General, I think, as many Americans have, because in February 1st, you know, he was tweeting out things like roses are red, violets are blue, risk is low for coronavirus, but high for the flu, so get your flu shot. March 2nd on Fox and Friends, he's saying, you know, more people are going to die from the flu than from coronavirus. March 8th, he's saying...
Yeah, she's got to act surprised that the government is putting out conflicting information. Come on.
Saying that they feel pretty good that some parts of the country have contained coronavirus when you look at the flu. And so I'm... concerned about why there's this huge shift in messaging now all of a sudden. What does he know that we don't know? What does he know that Americans now aren't being told? Because we know that this administration has been very opaque in its messaging. And so it doesn't give me any confidence, actually, now that the Surgeon General somehow is making comparisons to 9/11 and Pearl Harbor, when this is supposed to be the top doc in the country.
Well, he's actually not the top dog, clearly. I mean, I'm listening to Fauci. He's the only one that seems to have any idea how this is working. And, you know, I don't trust anyone who is not sure where they stand on the righteousness of giving people information that could save their life. For me, it's a no-brainer, you know? So, you know, and listening to him talk, it's like, this is not, you know, Pearl Harbor. This didn't sneak up on us. Someone told us this was coming, and we...
Who are the people that said this is coming, Whoopi? That's what I would like to know. Did they call you and tell you this was coming? Why didn't you get on the phone and do something about it, Whoopi?
Didn't do anything. Let's start with that. This is not 9/11 because we didn't look up and see this coming. This was... people said this is coming. Here it's coming, and no one acted fast enough to keep this off. And Megyn, just to your point, you know, perhaps if they would have left Obamacare alone so that...
Boom! There it is. Obamacare. What are they going to try to push now? Socialized medicine. The system we have doesn't work. Look at what happened when this whole thing hit. Oh, the whole healthcare system collapsed. We should have the government control it and everything else.
People could actually get some help that might have been helpful in this particular aspect, but we'll never know because we're in the world we're in right now.
I think the points you're making are very important, Whoopi. And I do think, obviously, Sunny, everyone, I think, you know, on this show, we've talked at length about healthcare and income inequality, but there is something about New Yorkers. Again, if you are a African-American person living in the projects in an apartment that's 300, 400, I don't know, however small it is, and you're being asked to self-quarantine in an area as opposed to the 1% in New York that have been able to leave the city, go to bigger places, go to giant homes. And I do think maybe there needs to be an emphasis or different kind of medical care or different kind of, you know, tents being set up in different areas of the city that don't.
I guess she doesn't consider herself part of the 1%. She only makes like, you know, a couple $100,000 a year. So I guess she's part of the 2%. So she's not those people.
Have the same access as the rest of the, and this isn't just in New York, but all cities that this is happening to, because I do think if it comes out at the end of this that we let a certain segment of the population.
There you go again with the racist stuff. A certain segment of the population
die at larger numbers. This is going to be a moment in history we will not come back from. And I think it's just particularly damaging.
Megyn, I think what you're saying specifically, though, is you were referencing something about this being unequal in the healthcare. The problem with something like this is the virus is an equalizer. The way we're able to handle it or fight back only magnifies the socioeconomic divides in this country.
Yes, I agree completely. We should all stand together and we are all one, but we're completely divided.
So when you say to send in certain medical care, I agree, because this is...
Hold on to the...
All right, they go to commercial after that. There's like 2 minutes of the video left. I can't even stand to watch the rest of it. I'm kind of throwing up in the mouth a little bit. But do you not see the agenda they're trying to push? They want rich against poor, white against black, and they want the government to run all of the healthcare system and pretty much everything else in your life because they know better than we do. You people need to wake up and realize what is going on.
Rest of that thought because it's an important one. We'll be right back.
Anyway, thanks for listening and watching through my rant and whatnot. I'll try to put some more videos out, maybe ones that are a lot better than this one. But hope everybody gets through this. And, you know, the best thing you can do is pray. Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior, and he's the only one that can get us through anything in life. So, that being said, y'all have a good evening, and I'll see you soon.